Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but we're too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. Thank you so much for joining me. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great show. Today, we are going to bring you a young lady from China, and we're going to talk about the differences between dentistry in China and in the U.S., and a little bit about the backstory when somebody comes here from China, how that works and all that. Before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And if you would please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. Also, all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. All right, so I have with me, and I was going to pronounce it, but I think I'm going to have you say it for me.
Okay, hello, this is Fang.
Okay, Fang. We would spell that F-A-N-G, but you actually go by what we would say Frances, right?
Yeah, it's Frances.
Okay. And you're a recent graduate from Ohio State University, majoring in actuarial science. You were born in a border city in northeast China, meaning it borders North Korea, just across the river. And the name of that city, which is the fourth largest in China, is Tianjin.
Yes, correct.
Okay, Tianjin. And it has a total municipal population of more than 15 million. Isn't that 4 million more than New York City?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that is a lot of people. And you are 22 years old, and this is your fourth year in the United States. Well, hey, thanks so much for being willing to do this. I really appreciate it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me here. It's my honor.
Awesome. Okay, so now, we said you're 22, and you've been in the U.S. for 4 years. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, I'm the only child.
The only child, and is that because of the government's program to allow families to only have one child?
Yes, but my parents have always been wanting to have a second child, but they just don't have that.
They couldn't get pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were going to have a second even though they weren't really supposed to?
Well, it's not that strict for these couple of years.
Oh, it's kind of getting more lax?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what is your degree? Your degree, actuarial?
Actuarial science.
And that is to be an actuary, which I think I explained once to you, and I think you said I pretty much had it figured out. It is understanding statistical behavior or something like that?
Yes, and also the insurance policies and all the plans, the pension plans, and some funds and all the financial stuff.
Okay. So they do analyses on data that figures out, for example, that men live to a certain age, women live to a certain age, and so when they write an insurance policy, I don't think people realize this, but an insurance policy is the insurance company is betting us, it might cover us till 70, the insurance company is betting us we're going to live longer than 70, so they don't have to pay, right?
Yes, you got it.
And your job is to make sure they don't have to pay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm curious, how did you afford to pay for college here in the U.S.?
My parents are paying for me.
Your parents are paying for it. Okay. And how does it equate? First of all, it's the Chinese yuan, right?
Yes.
And how many yen, let's say, would it cost to go to Ohio State University for a year?
Well, the current currency rate is around 6.8, but when I was in college, it was around 6.3, 6.5, so...
Let's say $10,000 U.S. would be how many yen?
$10,000 would be 65 to 70,000.
65 to 70,000 yen?
Yeah.
Per 10,000?
Yeah.
And it costs about, is it 30,000 a year to go to Ohio State, or is it less?
Well, totally for the 3.5 years I've been here, I spent about more than $1 million.
More than $1 million Chinese yen. And what would say your parents' annual income be in yen?
I'm not sure because my dad works for official institute, and also she's a kind of like an independent contractor. So his income is not very stable. Well,
sounds like a lot of us in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did use some of my college deposit.
Okay.
Yeah, but their income would be.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of like what percent of somebody's annual income would sending you to college cost. So if somebody made $100,000 but their child's college cost $20,000, that's 1/5. You're good with numbers.
Oh, I'm good with numbers, but I need a calculator.
I happen to have one. Here, let me hand you one. Just for fun. There's your calculator. It doesn't have yen on it, but it does have other things. And then while you're doing that, why are you here? Why did you choose to come to the United States for your schooling?
Well, my parents have always wanted me to go to different places, go to some places that's other than the place I was born, the place I grew up. And also, since I have a cousin here in the United States, she came here like almost like 25 years ago, and she suggested that I could come to the U.S. and see how the education and the social life and the lifestyle here. And I got a opportunity, so I took it, and yeah, here I am.
Okay, are you doing the math? Are you still working on the numbers?
No.
Okay, here, I got to turn it on. Oh, you had it on. Okay, okay, well, keep working on the math, but I'll keep asking you questions.
Okay, so what's that question you asked?
Well, remember the question was, like, as a percentage of your parents' annual income, how much did it cost them to send you to college for a year, for example?
Well, if that's just the income, it's probably 100%. But since we got deposit, and we could sell one of our homes, so we covered it.
Okay, so you had a couple homes. So basically what you're saying is 1 year of college, so 65,000 yen, which would pay for 1 year at Ohio State, would be the annual income of your parents if they hadn't had some other money set aside.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. All right, now I'm curious. You're only 22, so you haven't had enough time probably to have any major dental issues, but have you gone to the dentist several times back in China?
Yeah, because I didn't have very good teeth when I was a child, but actually I've been to dentist here, and I just had my wisdom teeth out.
Okay, how did that go?
That was scary at first because I was told that was a oral surgery.
Right.
Yeah, and when I heard the word surgery and I need anesthesia, I was really scared, but actually it was so much easier than I thought.
Okay, yeah, because they put you to sleep and before you know it, it's over, right?
Yes, and the recovery progress was not as painful as I thought.
Okay, that's really good to know. That's good to know. So how does the dental care compare in the U.S., for example, to what you had back in China? Is it very similar? Is it different?
The dental care in the United States is so much more detailed than it was in China.
Okay, when you say that, do you mean more thorough, more complete?
Yes, more thorough.
Okay, so that's a good thing, right?
Yes, and it actually scared me at first because I didn't know that for a teeth cleaning, I need to do so many things.
What do you mean so many things?
Like I need to do the x-ray, and I got a lot of questions about my dental history, and I don't remember doing that in China.
Okay, well that's kind of neat to know. All right, so each week we do a Dr. Kvitko's question of the day, and so you might want to remember that according to, say your name again properly?
Frances.
Well, no, how would it be said in China?
Yeah, Fang.
Fang. Okay, Frances. According to Frances, we are more detailed here in the United States as dentists, and your wisdom teeth weren't as bad as you thought, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so remember that because when we do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day, that's probably going to be important. And you know what? I think what we're going to do is we're going to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. The prize is going to be a free floral arrangement from DeSantis Florist. All right, but before we do, we would like you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. One winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, we're back. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. This is episode number 461. And as you know, we are doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. And the question today is, according to Frances. And Frances, what's your last name?
Ren is pronounced as Ren.
Ren.
Yes.
Okay. So according to Frances Ren, the dentistry in the United States is A, more detailed than in China, B, less scary than she thought, or C, all of the above. All right, so that's Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. The prize is going to be a free floral arrangement from DeSantis Florist. All right, what we need you to do is give us a call at 614-459-9769. That's 614-459-9769. All right, so go ahead and call now.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko! Let's go!
Hi, I'm Johanna, and I've been a dental patient at Dr. Kvitko and Associates for over 10 years. I would really recommend Dr. Kvitko for your family's dental care. They're friendly. They're always there to help me. I feel like family when I walk in the door. It's clean, it's comfortable. Even if I have to bring my kids, they have a great playroom for them. I know when I'm with Dr. Kvitko, they are taking that extra time to make sure that I'm going to be the healthiest I can be. They've been great. I love them.
Call Dr. Kvitko and Associates today, 614-262-9588.
Get ready to... All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. We have 4 people on the line. But let's see here. We have Janet, Tom, Mary, and Tina. And so, Frances, do me a favor. Pick a number between 1 and 4.
3.
You pick 3? All right, so we're going to go to caller number 3. All right, and that would be Janet. Hey, Janet, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for calling in and listening. And do you have the answer to Dr. Kvitko's question of the day?
I believe it's C.
It is all of the above. Less scary than she thought and more detailed than in China. All
Yes.
right, so hey, stay on the line because we're going to get those flowers to you from DeSantis Florist. They'll be delivered to your place of business this Tuesday afternoon, okay?
Uh-huh.
So stay on the line. We need to get... And hey, Janet, what do you do for a living? I always ask folks.
I'm sorry?
What do you do for a living?
I work as a merchandise processor at Capping Direct.
Okay, awesome. So you're the one that makes sure that it arrives in the proper box and all that we get it when we want it, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that.
Online division.
Thank you for that. All right, well, you stay on the line, okay? Awesome. Okay, so as if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile, episode 461. And we're welcoming Frances Ren, a 22-year-old college student from China. All right, so let's get back to Frances Ren, who is from China. She is from Tianjin, China.
Hello, everyone.
Is that, did I say it right?
Yes, that's right.
And you have a degree in actuarial science
Yes.
from the Ohio State University, and you decided to come to the U.S. because your parents wanted you to experience another culture.
Yes.
And we see a lot of folks from China in Columbus walking around or in just around the United States in general, and I always wonder the story behind it, what brought somebody here and how they're faring, and what do you think of the food here?
Let's say I still like Chinese food more.
You still like Chinese food more?
Yes.
What's your favorite U.S. food?
My favorite, mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, with gravy or without?
Without gravy.
Okay, just mashed potatoes. Okay. How and when did you learn to speak English? Because you speak English very well.
Oh, thank you. And I started to learn English at the 3rd grade, but most of my friends started learning English in kindergarten.
They did? What took you so long?
Yeah, because I wasn't born in Tianjin, and I went back to the place I was born for a couple of years, and the people there started learning English at the 3rd grade. But when I turned to 3rd grade, I went back to Tianjin again. So that's when I started.
Okay. Why'd you leave and why'd you come back?
Well, I went back and forth from the place I was born and the place I grew up. But finally, I started full-time staying in Tianjin at the age of 8 or 9.
Okay. Did it have anything to do with your parents' work? Did they have to move for a job, or?
Yes, and because my grandparents were going to Tianjin to stay for a long time, so my mom went to Tianjin to take care of them, and my dad still stayed in the old place.
Okay. Now, what was the process you had to go through to be able to come to the United States?
Well, first I need to take some classes because the SAT and the language test were different from what we learned at school. And we learned like a lot of subjects at school, but for SAT, we just need math, writing, and some grammar and reading stuff. So I took some courses, and then I took the exams, and then I need to do the same things as American students, the personal statements, the recommendation letters, and gather around all my materials, and then apply for the university.
Well, that's interesting. So letters of referral, the people you were asking to write the letters probably didn't speak or write English, did they? But you had to somehow get them translated into English?
Well, one of them is my English teacher, so
okay.
That's a bonus. And others, I had them do it in Chinese, and then I translate them.
You translated them?
Yes, I did.
Gee, did you embellish a little bit and make it sound better than it was? I'm kind of teasing, but I'm kind of not.
I won't answer that question.
Okay. That's funny. All right, so now that was the process to get into a university. What about the process of getting a visa, being allowed to leave with government authority?
Well, getting the visa, I think for most of the countries that needs a visa to get into U.S., the progress is the same. You just get the materials needed from the U.S. embassy, and then you go to one of the U.S. embassies in China, and you get the interview.
Really? You can just knock on the door and say, hey, I want to come to your country. What do I do?
Well, that's not the truth. You need to make an appointment and pay the registration fee and do the interview with the visa officer, and after they approve you, you're gonna get your visa.
Okay, so that's neat. Which country makes it harder on you to, say, come from China to the U.S.? Is it harder to get the Chinese government to approve, or is it harder to get the U.S. government to approve?
Well, it's pretty easy, I think.
Really? And could I go to China if I wanted to go and live there?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay. I don't speak Chinese, so I'd be in trouble, wouldn't I?
Well, if you see someone in the 20s, you can just go ahead and say English to them because most of them are pretty good at English.
Well, that's really good to know. So, does everyone have access to dental care in China? I know it's a large country with over 3 billion people, correct? About 3.3 billion, I think I heard. Is that about right?
No, not that much. Like
how many?
1.5, 1.6.
Really? I thought it was more than that.
No.
Okay.
It's not that much.
Okay. So everybody has access to dental care?
Well, I can't say for the whole country, but for people around me, and I know they have access to the dentist.
And who pays for it?
If you have the health insurance by your employer, then a lot of that will be covered by the insurance plan.
It's a lot like the U.S. then. Your employer has employer-sponsored dental insurance?
Yes, correct. It's not just dental insurance, it's the whole...
Medical?
Yeah, medical insurance. It's all in one.
Oh, that's not... wow, their medical insurance includes dental?
Yes.
That's something we don't have here.
Yeah.
You noticed that, huh?
Yes, I just noticed that after I graduated.
So do you have any idea why we split it up? Like, why do we have a separate policy for vision and a separate policy for dental and a separate policy for mental health instead of just one?
I've always wondered that, but I don't know who to ask.
Well, I've wondered it too, and we don't know who to ask either because it seems like such a messed up system that we just should have one policy covers the whole body.
Yes, that's what I thought.
That's what you think too?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's see. What has been your biggest surprise about the U.S. now that you're living here? Actually, you know what? Don't tell me yet because I think I want to go to a break, and when we come back, it'll give you a chance to think of your answer too, okay? So, you're listening to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko and Frances Ren.
Yes, correct.
And we'll be right back.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko. Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile, episode number 461. We are talking with Frances Ren, a 22-year-old college student from China. All right, we're back. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is The Reasons We Smile. It's episode number 461. And I got the idea to basically ask Frances Ren. She is a young lady. She's 22 years old. She was born in China. She came to the U.S. to further her studies. She has a degree in actuarial science. And we see a lot of folks from China and other nations here in the U.S., especially around OSU, going to college. And I just wanted to find a little bit of understand the backstory of what brought Frances here and what she thinks of the U.S. and that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing if you're just joining us. And so I want to continue with Frances and ask you some more questions because I'm just a curious person by nature. Before the break, though, we said, what has been your biggest surprise about the U.S. now that you are living here, and what's the answer?
Well, the U.S. is not as busy as I thought when I was younger, because I grew up in a major city in China, and I always have a lot of people around me, and it's always crowded, and the traffic was not always bad, but mostly like around rush hours is super bad. And for here, I came to Columbus. It's not like New York City or LA or San Francisco that I saw on TV. So I thought, where are all the people?
Where are all the people? That's funny. You know what? I had a young lady on from India a few shows back, maybe a few months ago, and her biggest surprise was the traffic. And in her case, just like you, it was the lack of traffic. She can't believe how, and what she was saying is how polite we are. We actually follow the traffic rules. We stop at the stop signs and we stop at the traffic lights. Have you noticed anything like that, or is it just the lack of big numbers?
Yes, just the lack of big numbers. And for the politeness, I feel like American people are not always rushing to somewhere. Not like Chinese people. They're always in a hurry to go to somewhere else. They are very concerned about their time. But here in the States, people are taking their time.
Well, that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. What about, what do you like the best about being in the United States? So not your biggest surprise, but what do you like the most now that you're here?
It's the tolerance of everyone, because you don't get judged. You don't need to be afraid of being judged. You can just not just do everything you want, but you can do most of the things you want without being criticized.
That's really neat to hear, because that's something we're very proud of in this country, is we want everybody to be able to reach their maximum potential, whatever that is, and that is regardless of whether it's age or race or sex or nationality or religion. It's kind of the way our nation was founded. So it's pretty cool to hear you say that. What do you miss most about China? And I know you've only been gone for 4 years, but what do you miss most besides the food, which I think you said that...
Yes. The food would be the most, but since I've already mentioned that, probably the culture environment. Because even though I enjoy being in the States, China is still my hometown, my home country. So there are some cultural differences here that make me miss my home country.
Okay. Now, could some of that be the fact that your friends are back there, and if you want to go out to a club, go out to, I don't know, dinner or dancing or whatever, what would you be doing on a normal night with your friends back in China, that sort of thing?
because of the bad traffic, we probably would just go to somewhere and stay there, like in a movie theater or some game club, that kind of thing.
Do you have a game like playing like video games?
We mostly play board games.
Really? Okay, and we have you been to the new business that's opened up near my dental office called Tabletop Game Cafe?
I went there to get a cup of coffee, and I saw people were playing there. I maybe go there sometime in the future with my friends.
Yeah, me too. It sounds pretty interesting. Now, what do you miss least about China?
The air, the pollution.
Really? Okay, it's very visible?
Well, it's not that visible, but sometimes you can really smell it.
Smells bad. What does it smell like?
Smell like dust.
Dust, okay. And is it from factories putting out pollution?
Not just factories, also because the traffic and the traffic.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, hey, Frances, thank you so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it. This is pretty exciting and interesting to me to get to talk to people from other countries. And you kind of surprised me when we got together because you have some guests with you. And tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. They're my parents. They just came to visit me from China, and they will be here with me for about 5 or 6 months.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes. So
I didn't know they were coming. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, I didn't plan on bringing them here, but then I thought, maybe I can bring them and have them see some Americans and talk to them, even though they don't understand any English.
Well, you can be my interpreter.
Yeah, I can always translate.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You have a great day and enjoy your stay in the United States, and I hope your mom and dad do as well.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. Isn't she an awesome young lady? And it was kind of neat to get to meet her parents. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like we have more time. I'm getting that signal from my producer. So, I guess I don't have to say goodbye quite yet. Looks like we have time for one more question. So Frances, tell me, how do your job prospects compare between China and the U.S.? For example, you came to the U.S. to be educated. Are there more opportunities for you in the U.S. to do this job than China, or has the plan all along been to go back to China and get a job doing actuarial science?
I've always wanted to stay here in the United States after I came here, but for the job opportunities speaking, I think it's probably easier for me to get a job in China because I got a degree from the U.S. and Ohio State is a pretty good and well-known university in China. So, yeah.
Okay. And if you wanted to stay, what would that entail?
Well, first, I'll need to get the OPT status and get my employment authorization card here in the United States.
What's OPT stand for?
It's optical, practical training, that kind of thing. It's just a 1-year identity status for international students to stay in the U.S. and get a job.
And that's a requirement of the U.S.?
It's not a requirement, it's more like a privilege.
Oh, neat. Okay. The privilege of being allowed to stay.
Yes.
Okay. And so if you stay in the U.S., will your parents be able to come and live here with you, or is that you would just go back and visit them every so often?
Well, if I stay here in the United States, since my mom doesn't work and my dad is going to retire soon, they can come and visit me here in the United States for every year, I think.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So that was such an eye-opening interview for me. It was really cool, and I do encourage you to go to thereasonswesmile.com and watch this show because Frances brought me some photographs of when she was a young girl and a young lady growing up, and pictures of her family and sitting around the table all eating dinner and that sort of thing. So it's really cool to be able to see all that. All right, so it looks like that is all the time we have. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's at Dr. Kvitko, and visit my office Facebook page and like us. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates, by the way. Remember that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking@thereasonswesmile.com.